Recent revelations about the treatment of black children in the UK's public school system have cast a disturbing light on racial profiling and mental abuse these students endure. The harrowing case of Child Q, a 13-year-old black girl who was subjected to a traumatic strip search by the police in her school, has ignited outrage and calls for urgent reform. The BBC's coverage of this issue is commendable, as it brings attention to a problem that has been largely ignored and undermined by those in power. Racial profiling of black students in the UK is not a new phenomenon, but its persistence is alarming. Black children are often perceived as threats by school authorities and law enforcement, leading to disproportionate disciplinary measures, including strip searches. These invasive practices are not only a violation of the children's rights, but also a form of psychological abuse and can have long-lasting effects on their mental health and self-esteem. The case of Child Q is a stark example of how black children are othered and dehumanized. Despite the public outcry following this incident, the police and school authorities involved have largely escaped accountability. This lack of repercussions perpetuates a system where black students are routinely criminalized and subjected to harsh treatment based on racial stereotypes. The racial profiling of black students is intricately linked to the school-to-prison pipeline, a system that funnels marginalized youth from educational institutions into the criminal justice system. By subjecting black children to strip searches and other demeaning practices, schools and police reinforce a narrative that these children are inherently criminal. This not only increases their likelihood of entering the criminal justice system, but also strips them of their dignity and humanity. The systemic racism that fuels the school-to-prison pipeline is underpinned by a white supremacist ideology that sees black bodies as disposable and exploitable. The UK's history of racialized policing is well documented, with black communities often targeted under the guise of national security or public safety. However, the rationale behind these practices is flimsy at best. When was the last time African communities posed a threat to the UK's national security? The reality is that these measures are more about maintaining racial hierarchies than ensuring public safety. One of the most shocking aspects of this ongoing issue is the lack of diversity training within the police force and educational institutions. The inability or unwillingness of these institutions to recognize and address their own biases contributes to the ongoing mistreatment of black students. Diversity training is not a panacea, but it is a critical step towards creating a more equitable system that respects the rights and dignity of all students. In addition to diversity training, there is an urgent need for schools to incorporate a more inclusive curriculum that addresses the needs and histories of black and brown students. Education is a powerful tool in combating racism, and by teaching students about the contributions and experiences of diverse communities, schools can help to dismantle the stereotypes that fuel racial profiling. The racial profiling and dehumanization of black children in the UK's public school system is a symptom of a broader societal problem. Until systemic racism is addressed and all levels of society, including in schools and the police force, black children will continue to suffer. The case of Child Q should serve as a wake-up call, not just to those in positions of power, but to all of us. We must demand accountability and push for meaningful reforms that protect the rights of black children and ensure they are treated with the respect and dignity they deserve. Please like or share this message. I would love to hear back from you. Thanks for listening.